Welcome back to your Yankees Latest. I'm your host, John Laloggia. Yanks get blanked last night 4-0 against Cleveland. Yankees still 37-23. Guardians 33-27. They're playing good ball as of late. Yanks just couldn't hit. Give credit to Ortiz, LL Ortiz from Cleveland. He was very good. 5 2/3, no earned runs, 3 hits, 7 strikeouts. Really no one other than Rice and Judge hit. They both had a couple of hits between them, but other than that, it's baseball. Sometimes it happens. Clark Schmidt was very, very good. I want to talk a little bit about him. So he gave up some runs early, and normally, that's a lot of times, you give up 3 in the first. Sometimes that can derail you. And what I really liked about his performance is that he battled. He gave up 3 in the first and then just came back really strong. His line ended 5 2/3, 7 hits, 3 earned, 8 strikeouts. So the only 3 runs he gave up was in that first inning. And then he cruised. Fastball up 94, 95, and probably the best breaking ball I've seen. That's a pretty good Cleveland lineup, and he made a lot of hitters look bad. Lefties breaking ball down and in, swinging over the top, and then that slider breaking ball away at 84, 85 away to right-handers, and then changing the eye level with the fastball up. Just really good tunneling, pitch selection, and just great spin off his breaking ball. I think that was the story from last night. It's probably the best breaking ball I've seen him throw. And the fact that he was able to come back after giving up 3 in the first and to hold them, to give his team a chance to win, that's all you can ask for. And it's a really, really good sign from Clark Schmidt. I really like what's happening with this Yankee team. They're learning how to win, and even the games that they lose, they're not bad losses. This happens in baseball. It's a long season. Sometimes you get blanked. The Cubs lost 2-0 last night, and they have the best offense in baseball and score the most runs, and they got only a couple hits. So it happens. It's baseball. I'm not super worried about it, but what I want to see is these pitchers coming back and not faltering after things go wrong and giving up 3 in the first. So great job by Clark Schmidt. Really like how he settled down, and probably some of his best stuff that I've seen him in a while. And I think it'll go unnoticed because he takes the loss here, but there's a lot of good to come out of his performance. So let's just not lose sight of that. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the trade rumors. We talked about Brandon Lau. We talked about Bohm, third baseman from the Phillies. I saw on Twitter that because you have Jazz at third now, that and LeMahieu at second, and I don't know if this was a joke, but I did see Goldschmidt taking ground balls at second base because they're so solid at first base. Maybe that was a joke, but I thought that was kind of funny. I think Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are going to sustain this winning. I don't. I don't think they have the offense to do it. I think their pitching has been really good, but I think he'll be on the market. He's an elite reliever. It'll be in high demand if the Cardinals sell at the trade deadline. I think he will be absolutely incredible for this team. Throws a great breaking ball, and he throws like over 100 miles an hour, which is electric stuff, which is what you want in late in games. So, and then Alcantara for the Marlins, starting pitcher, former Cy Young. He's returning from injury. I think he would be absolutely fantastic for this team. Albies is still rumored. There's no way the Braves are going to give him up. Brandon Lau, I think, would be solid second baseman because they sort of need a second baseman. You have LeMahieu as a platoon, but obviously, Albies and Lau are definitely an upgrade. But I really like Helsley from the Cardinals. Right-hander closer. Who knows what's going to happen with Weaver. Williams has been up and down this season, and it gives you a bona fide closer at the end of the games to shut the door with a fastball at 101, 102, and a pretty good breaking ball. And he's he's got the intestinal fortitude to pitch in the ninth, to pitch in big games, and to pitch in Yankee Stadium. So I like him, and I think he'd be a very good fit. And then also you probably need another starting pitcher, specifically a right-handed starting pitcher. And Sandy Alcantara would definitely be that. I know he's returning from injury, but he has an absolute electric stuff and would be a huge addition to this. He was floated as the Yankees' potential destination for the Marlins, but he did struggle since he's been coming back from injury. But the Yankees do have some prospect depth with Will Warren, Ben Hess, if they want to make a deal to bolster them. And Warren's been throwing the ball well, so that is definitely an upgrade. I think Clark Schmidt is more consistent, especially what I saw from last night. And if you can have Clark, Alcantara, Fried, Rodon, four really good starters in the postseason, and you can get Helsley in the back end of the bullpen, that's really, really good. I really like Williams as a setup man. I just think it's a better fit for him. I also think it alleviates the pressure of the ninth. It is different pitching in the ninth inning. Anyone who tells you different is wrong or doesn't understand baseball. The ninth inning is different than the eighth and the seventh. I think Williams is a better fit for the seventh or eighth. Weaver can close, but I want someone who can shut the door, and Helsley is that. And so if this team is serious, I would try really, really hard to get Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals, because I do think their performance is going to wane and they're not going to be playing like this at the mid or end of July. So keep your eye out for that. Last but not least, trade route or latest injuries updates. Luke Weaver is supposed to return fairly soon, June 3rd. Now expected turn is June, July. MRI taken on June 2nd showed, Weaver's hamstring strained. So he's still waiting to see on that. But again, and Stanton, we've talked about it a million times. So these guys there's going to be a lot of soft tissue injury. This is going to happen. And so that's why if you want to be a serious World Series contender, you have to be aggressive. You have to add. And that's why Cashman should be eyeing Helsley, Alcantara, Bohm, Luis Rengifo from the Angels, Albies, which is never going to happen, but still, you never know. Brandon Lau, be aggressive. Again, the trade deadline is July 31st. There's a lot of times, but there's a lot of infielders and pitchers who they need as potential targets or trade chips for the Yanks. And you have to be aggressive. You have to add. And they should at least be thinking about this right now and also what you're willing to give up. If you want Alcantara, okay, you're going to give up Warren. You're going to give up a couple other pieces, but you're going to have to do it. You technically want Ozzie Albies. Do you give up Volpe? Obviously, I would do that in a second, but I know people are sensitive about Volpe and think he still has potential. I think he's a mediocre player. I think he's a good player, but he's fine. I mean, it's exactly what he is. He's not an elite player, and he's not a terrible player. He's just good enough to be in the lineup and hit seventh or eighth. And that's not good enough if you want to win the World Series. You need to get better. You need to upgrade. I feel like I'm like channeling George Steinbrenner here to constantly get better. That was his whole thing. How can we get better every day? Add, get better. Where do we have holes? I want an upgrade here. And that's the mentality that you have to take. And hopefully Cashman is going to do that. This is a really good team. I think they're better than last year. I think they're more balanced than last year. You're going to get Stanton back. You have a lot of options. Ben Rice is playing well. Bellinger has been a great addition. Fried, all the moves in the offseason have really paid off for the most part. Cruz in the bullpen. Weaver's been good but hurt. Williams is starting to solidify a little bit. And you're going to get Luis Heel back. So many good things with this team. But be aggressive at the trade deadline and add. Make this team better. That's been your Yankees update. I'm your host, John Laloggia. Join me tomorrow. Tonight's game, little preview, 7:05 Eastern start against Cleveland. And then after that, Boston, baby. Big series. Can't wait for that. But what game tonight against Cleveland, we'll wrap up that series. Hopefully the Yanks can get a win, and we'll recap for you tomorrow. I'm your host, John Laloggia. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.